Hello everyone. So, do you want to win friends and influence people? Well, that's the book that I began reading. I love that book and I kind of want to go back to the self-help theme. I think this book is really interesting and I want to do a part one kind of summary and the takeaways that I learned. I will be doing like a part by part kind of series that may consist of like around 4 or 5 videos. Maybe I'll do like a playlist for this book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So I will do a part one summary, and what I learned is that the first principle is that people want to justify themselves and always rationalize their actions. Even murderers like Al Capone will not blame himself for his actions, and he will justify what he did. And the first principle is to not criticize anyone for anything, to not condemn, no matter how wrong it may be. It only makes the other person defensive and hurts their ego and pride, causing emotional reactions from the other person and makes you regret it later. Criticism is futile and actually dangerous. Instead, speak of the good of the other person. It is much better to reward others and encourage them if they do something well than to criticize and condemn them. One needs to be understanding of others, as their behaviors can be dependent on their circumstances that they're in now in this moment in time, and you may have acted similarly in those circumstances, in those occasions. And this is also important for parents. They can't blame their kids because their judgment is not the same as what the adult may do in that situation, because their brains are not yet fully developed and don't have the same level of reasoning and judgment as adults do. So don't criticize anyone, don't complain, and don't blame anybody. Instead, it's definitely much better to speak of the good of the other person, which brings me to my next point, to show sincere appreciation. The second principle is to give sincere and honest appreciation. People do what they want, so we can actually use that fact to get someone to do something that we request of them. People want to be important and appreciated. That's the key idea. And they will go crazy and even insane to win attention, degree of understanding, and the feeling of importance and appreciation from other people. Encouraging and praising others is much better than criticizing them, and will help them grow, develop, and improve. That's the best way. If you want somebody to grow professionally or in any aspect, it's the best to show appreciation and to encourage them for what they're doing, for their effort, for their time, for their achievements, whatever. And this is important in business and in a relationship. You can't change people or get them to do something by hurting them or criticizing them. Charles Schwab is the example given in the book, and he has great people skills, and you can have them too, simply by approving and praising others for their good points, efforts, and success, right? That's exactly what you want. Instead of criticizing, talk of the good of the other people. Let others know that they did something well, and provide sincere compliments. Not just flattery. Don't just tell people selfishly that they did something well if they didn't. Instead, be specific and non-vague about why you appreciate the other person. So I really appreciate how you did this because, so explain why you're appreciative of the other person. And the third point in part one, the third principle, is that people want to do and they're interested in what they want, not in what you want. So show others how what you desire may be advantageous and provide benefits to them, to the other person. Henry Ford was successful by understanding the other person's point of view. And Carnegie gives examples of various business letters that are poorly written because they did not look at the benefits and what it can do for the customer. If you're a salesperson, this is absolutely crucial. But when taking the customer's perspective into account, the business letters were rephrased and they're much more effective. They got much more sales and replies from the customers. So people have a selfish desire to have their problems solved. So that's what we need to do to help them and arouse an eager wanting in the other person to do what you propose. You have to make them want to do it. You have to show them that you're able to do through what you propose to solve the other person's problems. Put the other person's needs and wants before yours. That's the idea.